Welcome to the video on condensation polymers. You probably already watched the video on addition polymerization. Now we're going to be looking at condensation. The key characteristic of condensation polymers is that they remove a water molecule during the bond forming process. So if we think about something like here, this will be the rest of the molecule, whatever that might be. We have an acid group. This is called a carboxylic acid group. So that's a carboxylic acid group. It's an organic acid group. And then if we have another group, let's say we have an alcohol group. Okay, once again the R designating another portion of the molecule. It's the reaction between these two groups here that removes the water molecule, and in doing so forms an ester. So if we remove this here to make water, then the resulting bond would be something like this: R, C, double O, O, and then that O there joins up to the rest of the molecule. And this here is called an ester. That's an ester bond. And that's very, very important. And we're going to be looking... How loud was that motorbike? We're going to be looking at esterification reactions. And so this is a very important bond type here. So condensation polymers form in a lot of different ways, and examples. So nylon is an example of condensation polymer. PET, polyethylene terephthalate, is another one. So if we were to do that, you're probably familiar with PET bottles, polyethylene terephthalate bottles, soft drink bottles. It can also be used in Dacron, uses PET. Dacron is a fibre that's used to make synthetic clothing which doesn't wrinkle. So if we were to draw the structure of that, we have something like this. Okay, so we have terephthalic acid and ethylene glycol. And this is a diacid, and this is a diol. And so same sort of reaction happens up here, is where you get the removal of a water molecule. Oops, drew that wrong around the way. Right, we get the removal of a water molecule, and that joins an ester linkage there. And so when we have many of these together, we form what's called a polyester. And so this is polyethylene terephthalate. Okay, so that is condensation polymerization. This looks scary, but it's not really that challenging if you look for the clues of patterns. So this is something that you typically see in questions, in exam papers, where they'll have a polymer, and you have to identify the monomers from which it is made, and then draw them, and then possibly name them. And they can also ask you in the reverse. They can give you monomers and say draw the polymer. And it's testing that fundamental concept of condensation polymerization, where you get a removal of a water molecule, mostly to join them up. So with this particular one, let's check this out. So if you look at it carefully, you can see that there's a repeating structure there. Okay, we can see there's two carbonyl groups, which is telling you that it was probably an acid. And so here we go, there's a carboxylic acid group there. If there was a hydrogen there, that would be a carboxylic acid group. Okay, here's another carboxylic acid group. If there was a hydrogen there, it's been removed from the bonding. So this is one monomer here, and this is the dicarboxylic acid. Okay, and so that one there's got 3 carbons, so it's propane. Okay, so propane dioic acid. Now that's one monomer. Let's check out the next monomer. The next monomer is here, because then as soon as you get to here, we get the repeating of the pattern there. So this is the diol here. Okay, and remember that OH has been removed, so the O would have been here, the OH. So the structure here would be the OH, which goes there, and then you have the 3 carbons and another OH. Okay, and so with that particular one there, it's called propane 1,3-diol. Okay, sometimes called propane 1,3-diol, but that's the way that IUPAC names them. So we've got 2 monomers there, and then you have repeating structures. So that's it. You just got to look for those repeating structures. Be careful that in exams sometimes they trick you, where they want to try and change the orientation of certain side groups, but look out for that, and you should be able to identify the monomers of condensation polymers. Well, that's it for this particular video. We'll see you in the next video. Keep studying chemistry.